Ryan, I know one of the things that Urban always said on National Signing Day was if they're keeping score, you want to win. And as you look at the national analysis of the class, it's a top 2-3 class depending on who's doing the grading. How do you all do the grading as you view the whole product, right? The athletic ability, the student, the people, as you mentioned before. Do you view this as the best class in the country? How do you view, if you're scoring it, how do you view it?
It's the best class in the country for Ohio State. What's the best class in the country for another school? That's not the same for us. One of the things if you come here is it's going to be hard. You're going to have to compete to get on the field. You have to compete to play for a national championship. That's what we're looking for here. So first thing you have to do is do they have the physical ability? If they do, you check that box. Are they a culture fit in terms of what they want and their their goals and who they are character-wise? Check that box. How about academically? Check that box. And then by the end, you have this list of guys you go out and try to recruit, and then you build the relationship. And if the relationship's there, you just keep building on it. But the days of talking people into coming to your school, in my opinion, those days are over. When I was young, and this is no kidding. A head coach walked in with a book and dropped it on my desk on how to close a sale. Those days are over because with one-time transfer coming in and all the different things that are going on in the world, you have to be an open book. And this is who we are, and this is our culture. And we want to go be elite at everything we do. We've talked about our culture is all about fight to be the best version of yourself. And our goal is to win the national championship every year and be elite. If that's something that fires you up with the type of culture that we have here, then come on, let's go. But again, and certain, obviously, you have to build relationships, and you want to, show everyone the greatest parts of your university, and you have to recruit them and build those relationships. But it's more about building relationships than it is about talking people into coming to your school and chasing stars. To me, that's a short-term, gratification. In the end, what is the product on the field? And that's what we're focused on.
Next up, Bill Dennison with WLW. Bill? All right, I'll come back to you if you're still there, Bill. Next up, Doug Lesmerises, cleveland.com.
Hey, Ryan. With everything you just said about you're not selling kids on stuff, what is the difference when you are recruiting a player maybe to a position, not of need necessarily, but maybe you didn't get as many guys at that position numbers wise or whatever in the previous class, versus when you're recruiting a kid into a room like your receiver room, maybe whatever, where it's just like, hey, we got a bunch of top elite dudes stacked up. Is there a difference there? Because sometimes I think maybe you can sell opportunity, but then maybe sometimes it's like, well, it's going to be really tough, but this room is great. Is there a difference there?
I think you can always talk about what's there. You can talk about your offense. And I say it all the time, we can say we're a really good academic school and we care about academics, but if your GPA is at 2.2, then that's not accurate. You can say that, we have a really good program, we win a lot, but if you're 6-6, then that's not true. So what you do is you just show them what it is. You show them your on the field record. You show them the fact that the last two semesters you've been over a 3.0 GPA. You can show them, like, for instance, in the situation you're talking about, you can show them our passing statistics, what we've done the last 2 to 3 years here, and since we've been together on offense. And that's really what it comes down to. And I think that the guys who want to be great and aren't afraid to compete, they're like, let's go. Good thing about receivers is there's multiple guys. We usually have 3 guys, sometimes 4 guys on the field who are receivers. And we're always going to recruit really good quarterbacks to come in and throw the ball. So, again, a lot of these guys want to go play in the NFL. And in their minds, if they can't get on the field here at Ohio State, then how are they going to get on the field in the NFL? And they just want to go compete and be a part of this culture. And I think that's what you saw with Marvin and with Mecca and Jaden too.
Next up, Tony Girdman, Buckeye Scoop. Tony?
Ryan, you mentioned the unique relationship between Evan and Travion. Knowing that about how they are as people and how they view that, what did you like about them as players? Obviously, you can see the highlights and know that, but like, what do they bring to the football team? What did you like about them on the field?
Yeah, I think they would both tell you that maybe they're a little different styles of backs. Evan's a little bit more of a hybrid. Not that Trey can't do a lot of the same things, but he can do a lot of things in space. He's really good as a running back. He can get out on some jet sweeps. He can catch bubbles. He can get the ball in the perimeter and catch it. Trey's a little bit more of an every down back. But it'll be interesting to see how they develop. You think you have it one way until they get here, but we kind of go from there. And I've always said, and you guys have heard me say this all the time, you adapt to the players that you have and you figure out ways. You see us in a little bit more 12 right now because, Rucker, has done a really good job of that with Luke. And so we'll always adapt and move things around based on our personnel. We try to go get the best available and then adapt.
Next up, Bill Rabinowitz, the Columbus Dispatch. Bill?
Hi, Ryan. Kyle McCord is enrolling early. The expectation is that Justin's going to go to the NFL. You have 2 freshmen. Now, how realistic is it for him to genuinely compete for that starting job next year?
I mean, that is going to happen. I mean, he will compete for the job. We're going to have to figure out, Justin decides to go to the NFL, who the next quarterback is at Ohio State, and that's a big, big deal. So I know he's looking forward to getting in here and getting to work right away.
Next up, Tim May with the Tim May podcast, Letterman Row. Tim?
Yeah, Ryan, with everything you said, the 2 key words that keep coming out are culture fit. And here you guys are playing for a 4th straight Big Ten championship. Can you feel that in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center every day of what is special about this team? If you had to put your finger on it, about this program, what would ultimately be that thing that makes you guys different, in your opinion?
I think it because of this year, it's probably changed a little bit. I think that last year was a little different than this year. I think if you're asking me right now, what's special about this group, I would say their maturity. They've had to mature a lot in the last year. They've had to overcome. They can handle adversity. They can handle disappointment, and they just keep moving forward. I think it's given them great perspective. And there's a seriousness about, especially the older guys. The younger guys are still trying to figure out. They've been through a lot, these younger guys. They came in and had no spring ball, and it went home, and now they're back. It's amazing to me what they've all been through. But they've had to grow up fast. It's like anything else. When you go through difficult times when you're young, you have to grow up fast. And we all heard those stories. And I think that's what's happening with this group. And they've become very, very mature. And I think that's really neat. They know exactly what they want. They know that this year hasn't been the same. I think that once we hopefully get, COVID in the rearview mirror, it'll go back to maybe it was last year. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep moving along and try to win this championship, because I want to make sure we have something to show for all the sacrifice that's gone on over the last few months. It's been amazing to me.
Thanks, man.
Next up, Patrick Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, I asked some of the players yesterday about how this week's been different heading into a Big Ten championship game. And then it occurred to me that even the Big Ten championship game itself is different. It's at noon instead of at night on Saturday. How does that change things for you guys? I know you like noon games, but year after year, it's been, okay, we get ready for 8 p.m. kickoff. What changes about that this year?
Well, we decided that we were going to practice the last couple of days at noon, just to give us a little head start on a noon kick. So that changed a little bit. But the fact that there's no fans there, it'll be kind of like the combine in Indy. There'll be nobody there, and we'll be playing a game. So again, I don't know. We're just going to try to do everything we can to bring our own energy. And the electricity we talked about early on in the week was just, when you walk into that stadium and you take that bus over to Lucas Oil, that's usually the more electric environments year in and year out. And for the older guys, to go through that process of what that's like and coming out of the locker room and playing in that championship game, you can feel it when you're in that building. And so we're going to try to replicate that the best we can, knowing that it will be different.